So I have my document in HTML. If I want to use a JavaScript inside the body, okay, I can just use document dot write hello world. No problem, I am inside the body. So this will just print hello world, the first line. Hello world. Okay? And now, I have the choice. Since I am inside the body, I can decide where to put my script. I want to put it right after an H1. So this is my title, and I want to have my title, and after that to use document.write to print hello world with JavaScript. It will be in that same order. When we're using external files, like the one I have just here, and I take document.write and put it in that external file, number one, that is an error because I am writing inside functions.javascript, not even inside the body. And number two, I cannot control where to insert it. I cannot tell insert it right after my title, right? It will not know what to do. It's not even working. Nothing, everything crashed. Why? Because I am inserting hello world on line 7. So basically here I have hello world, which is an error. Inside the head I can only have meta, I can only have title, script, type, link, right? I cannot have hello world. So a way of this inserting HTML from an external file into the body is by creating an element, for example a division, and then tell JavaScript, please insert into this specific division my text. In order to be specific about which element I want to choose, we use an ID. For example, my division. So now I can insert inside my division hello world, right? This is gonna be coming from my JavaScript file. So here, instead of document.write, I need to find that division. In order to find that division, we say document dot get element by ID. The ID was my division, and what I want to do is to insert into the division hello world. So the inner part of the division, the inner HTML. Why inner HTML? Because inside a division we can keep on writing as HTML. Span, or we can put headers, divisions, or tables, whatever, right? So inside a division there is also HTML. So I want to put into the inner HTML. Now I want to insert there hello world. So now, as I said, I'm going to insert hello world into the division my div. The problem here is that I am executing this function, this line of code, at exactly line number 7 of HTML. The HTML is calling the file functions.javascript. It is calling it at line number 7. So at line number 7, I'm going to execute document getElementByID my division. At line number 7, the only thing that the file has loaded is meta, title, meta, head, and HTML. So inside something called the DOM, the document object model, I only have HTML, head, meta, title, and meta. So far, that's all that we have loaded. Therefore, the division with ID my div is not loaded yet, so it doesn't exist. So this will give me an error right away. Sorry, I need to close script like this. So this will give me an error here, and the error says document getElementByID is null, meaning I couldn't find that element. Right? So what we have to do then is to tell JavaScript, okay, wait for the whole document to load. Once it's loaded, go look for that element. And in order to wait for the document to load, we use a function, well, we use a property which is window dot onload, meaning when the window is loaded, execute the function that will then find the element. So wait for the window to load. Once it's loaded, execute all of this. And it inserted hello world into my division. So hello world is going to insert into my div hello world. There, hello world. The previous value, what I had before, this is a previous content, is gone because I am replacing it with hello world. As an example here, if I say a equals to 5 and then a equals 3 and I alert a, alert is going to give me back 3 because that was the last value that I gave to a. Yes, 5 is gone. Well, it's the same thing here. My previous value was, this is a previous content. I am changing it for hello world. So it's going, I'm replacing that value. Now, if I have something, for example, name equals John, and I use name plus equal Smith, plus equal will concatenate into the previous value the new value. So it's going to store John Smith, and alert will show me John Smith. Alert name. So alert is going to show me John Smith, because now name contains John plus Smith. So plus equal will concatenate into the value. So I can use plus equal right here, and that will keep on adding to my division the new content instead of replacing it. So now it says this is a previous content and also hello world. If we want to do the opposite, right, then we have to follow our signs. Meaning, here I am inserting hello world into the division, the element. If I do something like variable my content equals document getElementByID my div.innerHTML, I am saving inside my content whatever I have inside the division. So if I alert here my content, I will see this is a previous content inside the alert. So the equal sign is going to take the value from the right and put it in the left. As simple as that. The value of this line here, document getElementByID my div.innerHTML, the value of this is this previous content. And it's going to save it into my content. So alert my content will give me that value. On the previous lines, I'm doing the opposite. I am taking the value hello world and I put it inside my div. So whatever is on the right is inserted on the left. Now, what I want to do is to take my content. Now I am saving inside the variable my content whatever I had before in my division. Then I am going to insert hello world with a break. And after that, I am going to insert plus equal my content. So here what I'm doing is that instead of having first this previous content and inserting after hello world, I'm doing the opposite. I want to have hello world first and then this previous content after. Right? So hello world goes first and then my content, which is the previous content. Hello world goes first and my content, the previous content, goes after. Now, when we use inputs, for example, for now, I'm going to fill it up. I'm going to put as a name John Smith. This will show on the screen an input with value John Smith. There it is. There's an input. So it's already filled up. If we want to get the content of that input, we cannot use inner HTML, because inner HTML is for those elements that open and close tags, like h1, like division. But input has no closing input tag. Since it has no closing input tag, there is no inner HTML. What I want to get is the value, John Smith. That's what it's inside, right? So instead of saying document dot get element by ID, I'm going to give it an ID, name. instead of saying dot inner HTML, I say the attribute name. So dot value. Right? Now, do I want to change it? Okay, then I have to change it is equals something else. So now I'm going to write here Peter Jones. So when the document is loaded, I'm going to change the value of the input for Peter Jones. Oh, I didn't save my index. Sorry. Peter Jones. I changed it using JavaScript with dot value. Now, I am inserting. Remember, from right to left, I insert Peter Jones into the value. If I want to get the value, I will have to then save it. I'm going to create a variable, my name equals getElementByID, the name. Now I'm going to save inside my name whatever is written inside the value. To show you, I'm going to create an alert with my name. Peter Jones. So I got it and I alerted it. Okay, remember, if document getElementByID dot inner HTML or dot value is on the left of the equal, is because you're inserting inside of it some value. If it's on the right side of the equal, is because you are getting the value that you have there. Okay, here I am getting it. I am getting it, I am putting it inside my name. On line 10, I am replacing it, or I am inserting my content into my div. Now, we have dot inner HTML, we have dot value, right? Most of the times we can get just dot, the name of the attribute of that element. Another attribute of input is type, right? The type is text. So I can get getElementByID dot type, for example. And that should give me text. Or I want to get the name, right? The name is name. Okay. Name. Some of the attributes change. For example, if I had a class border 1 pixel solid red, that is going to make my input with a red border. What happened? I didn't save it. Yes, I saved it. Oh no, sorry, no class, style. Sorry. Okay. I want to get the style. It's giving me a CSS object. The reason is because inside the style I have many more styles, meaning I have a border, I could have a margin, I could have a padding. So then I have to continue specifying dot style dot border, and now I will get the border 1 pixel solid red. Okay. And there is many more. If there was a class, so now, for example, if I have a style in my head, and inside the style I'll have a class. A class named my input. Okay. and I'm going to give the border to that class. And instead of using a style, I'm going to use class equals my input. Okay? Just going to comment this for a second. So there you go. It's still red. So what I want to do is to get the class, right? So normally, I mean logically, it would be dot class. But if you see, it got blue. That is because class is a reserved word. So we cannot use dot class. Class is meant for something else. Okay? So instead of class, we have to say class name. That will give back the class name, my input. Okay? One last thing that is also important to understand is, for example, if I have another style, and let's say margin top 40 pixels. What happened? Okay, there you go, 40 pixels. And I want to get that value of 40 pixels, right? So then we said it's supposed to be dot style dot the name of that style, margin top. Well, here there is another exception. I cannot try to do that because in JavaScript, minus is an operation. So it's going to try to make margin minus top. Like if there was a variable margin minus the variable top. So that's going to give me back an error, not a number. Right? So instead of margin top, we use margin top. (40 pixels). Here I am getting it. If I want to change the margin, then I say margin top equals something, 100 pixels. Line 12, I am getting the value. Line 16, I am inserting the value. First is 40 pixels, and after went down to 100. So I'm changing that value. Okay? So that applies for mostly everything. The inner HTML get or change value. The value, dot value for an input, get or change it. The style, the class, you can change classes, you can change styles, you can change names, you can change IDs, or you can also get them back. Since you can change the style, then you can literally practically change any styling with JavaScript as well. Okay? If you ask me now, should I do it using CSS or should I do it using JavaScript? You start using it with CSS. And then if your program requires to change something with JavaScript, you use JavaScript. For example, if you're making validation on some kind of input, right, and whatever they wrote inside is wrong, you can use JavaScript to validate, change the style, and make it look red. This is wrong. But the initial values are with CSS, 100%. After, for some specific reason, then you use JavaScript. Okay? So this is how to manipulate elements inside the HTML or the DOM, the document object model, from an external JavaScript file.